So probably looks like a little bit shorter from a filming standpoint. Number one is off at D&D this morning with his friends. They're playing, they got a campaign doing something, I don't know. I don't understand D&D. Today we got number three.
Hi.
He's our videographer. So you can see the smoker, it's going. Today's day 2 of smoking for the church youth camp. We did 39 racks ribs yesterday, 36 in here, 3 in the backyard. We're doing the second batch of 36 today. It's for 75 total, so it's a lot. So what we're doing today though, while this smoker is going, well, let's do a tour. We probably ought to start with a tour and introduction to the smoker. So where do we start with the smoker? I was a missionary in Detroit from Texas, and I missed barbecue when I was in Detroit. And so as I was pedaling my bike around Detroit, anytime I saw somebody making something, I'd stop and ask them what they were doing. And I learned, you know, kind of how to make ribs from just people on the street in Detroit. So my style of barbecue is a little bit of a mix between Texas and a little bit of Detroit influence in there. Barbecue started in Texas. We moved to Texas when I was 14. And then I started to cook on my mission in Detroit. I started to learn how to do ribs there. The fun, after my mission, when I was a young married guy, I got really into trading on Craigslist in Texas. And at one point, I traded a generator for a snowmobile, but then I ended up trading that snowmobile for a smoker. And it was like a 500-gallon vertical. It was a monster. It took me and 2 of my brothers to be able to get it into place. And that smoker was great, and I had that until we moved to South Dakota to go work for Polaris up there, because that thing weighed so much I couldn't move it to South Dakota. We left it at Grandma's house. In South Dakota, we bought the main smoker that we have now. Probably number 1, can insert a picture of it here. It's just a vault smoker, propane, turkey fryer in the bottom. And then I did a smoke for a men's event at church, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And it was just a lot of work because I couldn't fit enough in there. And so we were down in Texas on vacation, like right after that. And I ended up buying a smoker trailer there. Number 1 can probably insert a picture of that here. And that was a good smoker. It was a lot of work though. It was just a straight stick burner. It was hard to maintain, hard to get right temperature. The firebox didn't flow well, and so it was huge, but it didn't have a ton of space. And then I went to go pull it out in January, and I almost took out that garage window over there because I had too much crap, and I got angry, and I sold it at that point. I said it's dumb. And I've been like 3 or 4 months without a smoker trailer, and then I started to miss it. And this beauty popped up on Facebook Marketplace. They had it listed for $600, but this thing had not been used in forever. It was all kinds of taken apart, and none of the systems on it were working. And I went and I looked at it, and it was just rough, like really, really rough. Like I didn't even know there were sinks on it. When I went to go look at it, like I kind of like peered underneath and I saw these sinks. I was like, holy crap, it's got a full water system. But I didn't know how to get the top up. There was no propane hookups. The battery was gone. There was no water pump for all of it. And so I lowballed them at $400. I just said, hey, it's a cool smoker, but none of the systems are working on it. Like $400, and like, no, I can't do that. And so I drove away. I went to Jack in the Box. I was at Jack in the Box getting some tacos because I make poor life decisions. And they called me back, all right, we'll do the $400. And so I went and I picked it up. First thing I did was figure out the propane, how to get that all hooked up. The propane system on this is way cool because, let's see if I can. So the propane runs over to here, and then this is the nozzle, and it's literally just a weed burner. That's your main heat source for all of this. And so you can get a ton of heat off of that thing. I mean, it's like a 50,000 BTU burner. The nice part, like I used to go through, I don't know, I mean, number 1 posted a picture of that trailer in there. That back, I would burn through all of that during a smoke. I smoked yesterday with 1 log in there because the log's not the primary heat source. The log just gives it the smoke flavor. The primary heat source comes from that. So I got the propane hooked up to that weed burner, got it working, but when they designed it, there's a takeoff. So if you want to put a Blackstone or a grill, you got a propane takeoff there for that. And then if you come around the back side, this is one of the funnest parts. Because this thing has a full water system, it's got an RV heater on it. I haven't been able to get that to light yet, but I got faith and confidence. At some point, I'll be able to get that water heater lit. The water pump is just a 12 volt. Let's see if I can remember how to open this. It's just a 12 volt water pump out of a RV, and that was missing when I bought it, and so I got that back in there. Just a power switch right there. Lights turn on, all the lights up there. So the second thing I had to get going was the battery system. There was a battery up front. Well, there was a battery box, but the battery box was empty and it was all kind of trash. So I bought a new battery box, put a battery in it, and I didn't want to have to charge the battery, so I added a solar panel. So the solar panel, you know, this will run that water pump 12 days from Christmas. And any of the lights on here, they're all LED, so this is more than enough power for that. But because I have power, now I can add other things. So that's what we're working on today. So this is our old power inverter, just a Harbor Freight special. I can't even remember. It's probably 1,000 watts, 1,000 watt power inverter. This used to be in Guinevan, but when I upgraded the solar on Guinevan and put those like giant panels on top, I put a 3,000 watt. Well, really what happened is that we got a new power inverter for the cabin, and the old power inverter for the cabin came to Guinevan. So the old Guinevan inverter is gonna go in here. And that way we'll have power if Mrs. Van Zrek wants to run a fan, or you wanna add more string lights or something like that, we'll have inverter to do that. And then Mrs. Van Zrek kind of jokingly was like, well, how long till you add a stereo to it? And like, Marine speakers are $30. This is just a Bluetooth receiver that I can hook into that, and then we can have speakers on this. So she said it kind of ha-ha, and I was like, well, yeah, that's dumb. We definitely should do that. So that's what we're gonna work on today. We're gonna see if we can find a spot. I'm hoping I can get the mount in right here. I really don't want to take the awning off to be able to cut the holes. If I have to take the awning off to cut the holes, we might do that. But we'll see if we can get those speakers in there today and the power inverter, so that's all good to go. All right, so I think we got enough space right there. Let's get clear everything on the inside. This is one of those things we didn't show. This is also part of the water system where you can hook a hose up to it. That's kind of cool. But I think that's where we're gonna cut out our hole and put a speaker in right there. Then we should have space to match it on the other side. So we got it all marked out. Now we just need to grab our cutoff tool and cut that out. Either that bit's fried or we got the wrong tool. Might try a jigsaw. I'm not very good with the jigsaw. I think we might have to take the top off. All right, so there's the hole cut. And then the speaker should just go right in there like that. Number 3 went to the movies with Grandma. You just got me. Just got to make sure it's kind of level, and then we'll mount that in. Should be good to go. There you go, speaker 1 installed. Now I just need to come over to the other side and do the same. All right, there you go. Second speaker installed. So I got some speaker wires hooked up to them and run out. This is just a little Amazon 12 volt Bluetooth receiver amplifier. So I'm gonna go ahead and wire the power up to that. And then the battery for the smoker comes to those. See if I can get them. That up there, that's the power from the battery. So I'll hook probably a power cable from there. I'll add a switch and then a switch down to the speaker so we can turn it on externally to the amplifier. And should be ready to see how these things sound. So I haven't got it fully installed, and I just kind of hooked up the power because I don't have a switch yet, but speakers are in, speaker wires are all hooked up, power's there, and then on my phone, you're not supposed to. There you go. So I need to go pick up, I'll probably just grab another switch like this to put right there, and that way you can power on the Bluetooth independently, and then I'll actually wire the power in instead of my generic power. But that wasn't as bad as I expected. I was really worried about cutting these holes out, but it worked really well to just unbolt the canopy for the sinks and bolt right in there. All right, so one of the other things I want to do was get this power inverter installed. I was debating, I thought about putting it back there under the sinks, but I decided I really wanted to run some heavier gauge cable straight to the battery for it. This is where the solar panel comes, so I'm just going to follow the same routing for the solar panel to be able to hook this directly into the battery. Number one's back, so it's not so short of a recording height as it was before. So all wired into the battery. I didn't end up getting any loom, I just zip tied it all together. But over in here now, if we want power, we got power in here. So I'm gonna run to Home Depot, get a box so we can put an outdoor outlet right there. But should be good to go on that. And I think all that I have left of that are my switches for these lights. There was a pressure switch so that when you open the lid, the lights already come on. So you can kind of see the light coming on there. If I connect these two leads, I just need to, I got them in the garage, just put a new one in here and get it all in there. And then I think all that will be left after that is the countertop. I think after that, all the stuff that we've wanted to do on here will be done. Power inverter is mounted, it's wired in. Then I just have an extension cord that comes down and then hooks into a little outlet underneath the solar panel. So it's an outdoor outlet. We can unplug and it's all nice and covered. Let's see if it works. We flip the inverter on and that is so exciting. Six racks of ribs. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. That's what $500 worth of ribs look like. And now we wait. I'm just taking the temperature. These ones up here are cooking a little bit slower. You can see up here we're sitting at about 171. These are all at 190, so I was gonna pull those out right now, but they're looking pretty good.